Welcome back to Up to 5 Minutes, where we provide some knowledge on the real estate and mortgage world in under 5 minutes. I am Alton O'Shields, loan officer here in Philadelphia with Rate.
And I'm Eric Forte, a real estate agent with KW Empower in Center City, Philadelphia. So Alton, understanding a mortgage is very important to the buyer, obviously, but it's also important to the seller. What should a seller be looking for when they get that offer from a buyer?
That's a great question. You know, when someone submits an offer with a mortgage, they're going to have a pre-approval. So I'm going to show you some ways to break down the pre-approval and what I would look for if I was selling my home.
So Alton, what is a pre-approval letter?
A pre-approval letter is a letter that is submitted when you're making an offer that someone has already gone through the introduction mortgage process, and it says that they are pre-approved for a certain loan amount based off whatever qualifications they provided to that lender.
So that's obviously very important to the seller to know that there's money backing up the contract offer that they received. But when a seller is analyzing those offers, what should they be looking for in that pre-approval letter?
The first thing that I would look for is, number one, what is the loan program? So is it VA, FHA, is it conventional, jumbo? This is very important because they're gonna have different processes to go with it. It's often over dramatized, but there are differences in the appraisal process which might affect the shakiness of the deal going forward. And you wanna make sure that when you're comparing offers that you choose the one that has the highest success chance of going through.
So it's not that there's different types of loans or one is better than the other, just getting to the closing table, the process is different for each of them.
Correct. And you know, it's not too much of a difference, but another thing that I would look for as well is the length of the term of the loan. It's not always the case, but most times if someone's doing a 15-year loan, they're more likely to have success with that loan because they can always back up into a 30-year, whereas a 30-year loan may be a little bit more shaky or less likely to go through if something pops up, as they buy a car out of nowhere. We see these things on deals all the time. And another thing to look at that kind of compares with that is the loan to value. How much money are they putting down? And that should be on the pre-approval as well. So someone who's putting 3% down might have a harder time getting the loan approved and to the final processing than someone putting 25% down. Because going back to the appraisal, if it comes in lower than it's expected and they don't have the extra money to put down, that could be the end of your deal right there.
Okay. And so having a liquid buyer with access to capital is advantageous. And I know one of the things that when I'm working with sellers, that's something that we definitely look at competing offers, especially when it comes to the inspection period, because someone with less cash, other issues that come up with the inspection may be more important to them because they don't have the funds to fix them.
Correct. Yeah, if you're putting 3% down and there's a big ticket item, you're gonna be a lot less willing to pay for that item and move forward with the house than someone who's putting 25% down and can just put 5% less down and get it fixed.
Well, so far, Alton, you've left out one really important aspect of the pre-approval letter. Why don't you tell everybody what it is?
And that's who the pre-approval letter is coming from. And the reason why this matters is you want to make sure that it's coming through a trusted lender and not an online site like Rocket Mortgage. Sometimes they explain it, sometimes they don't, but it will tell you usually the type of qualifications they've gone through. Some people like Rocket Mortgage Online, they have a system where people can just type in their information and it provides like a pre-qualification is what they call it. And it's basically worthless. Anyone can get one with the basic information put in. What you want is someone who's local to the area, whose pre-approval is their word, it's their entire brand. That's the way that I look at it, because you know that it's more likely to go through. And most listing agents would know and tell you the difference between the different companies and who's good and who's not.
And also, pre-qualification and pre-approval are two different things, although pre-qualifications tend to be called pre-approval nowadays, unfortunately. But it's important, very important, because pre-qualification really is just kind of stated income, stated employment, whereas a pre-approval, you're going more in depth, right? You're actually looking at documents and verifying the information.
Correct, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with the listing agent or the seller calling the lender and asking, what have you seen? It's very common. especially in very competitive situations to optimize your chance of going through. But if someone's just stating their income and nothing's been reviewed, then again, it's essentially just taking their word for it. And then you might run into issues where they're not making as much as they said they did. We actually here at Rate take it one step further, and we have a process that allows AI to get it underwritten. So not only have we reviewed it, an underwriter has reviewed it and then approved that loan. So it's even one step farther than that.
So in that situation, with the way that Rate does business, that's almost like exactly like a cash offer, because the loan is essentially approved before the offer has even gone through.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's already been pre-approved by an underwriter. So the only other thing that we would need would be the appraisal to come in. And sometimes we're actually able to get appraisal waivers. So at that point in time, we can get the clear to close out almost immediately. We're just waiting on the title work.
A lot of great information. Any final tips for home sellers out there?
Yep, if you get one thing from this video, it's that not all pre-approvals or pre-qualifications are the same. When you're getting in multiple offers as a selling agent, that's great, but really take the time to look at the different offers, compare those different criteria, and figure out which is the best one for you.